There's no better way to start the revolution but by talking about the things that have inspired us to take action. We at Jeevitam believe in बोलने से होता है. We welcome you to our second episode of Livelihood for Women. I would like to welcome our guest, Miss Vanitha Datla ma'am, who is the Vice Chairperson and Managing Director of Elico Ltd, Managing Director of Elico Healthcare Services Limited, and founding member of Diversify, and is the treasurer of WIN, Women in Network, an NGO that works closely with children and women of urban slums. She has served on various panels of CII at the state, region, and national level, and also served on the board Business School Alumni Federation. An avid fitness enthusiast, she is also a youth lead. Has visited the Everest Base Camp in Nepal, Mount Kailash near Mansarovar, Tibet, and Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa, ziplined in Alaska, snorkeled in Great Barrier Reef, and skydived in Southern California. She has also learned the veena, piano, and classical Carnatic vocals at an early age. Vanitha ma'am wears a lot of hats and is an inspiration to many around the world. It is an honor to host you with us today, ma'am. Thank you so much, Vanitha ma'am and Munish sir, for being here today. Now, I would like to request Munish sir to please take this conversation forward.
Warm welcome to Vanitha ma'am, to you on this our second podcast, Livelihood for Women. I know you through CI, and you have always impressed me and inspired all of us with the kind of zeal and enthusiasm you always bring for various initiatives which you get into. I really, when I was reading through your introduction, and I was super impressed. You are really what we call as a superwoman. How do you do it? It's something we will understand in today's podcast. You are a list. You are a on the PI platform. I have taken you to doing so many initiatives. We both have done that, and you are a athlete. You have you have done various mountains you have climbed. You are a classical music enthusiast. I don't know how you do it, right? But you do it. And this is very inspirational for all of us. The objective of today's podcast is, how we will seek your views about how, women workforce participation, which is a problem which we all are facing. We will seek your input and also get inspired by you. So, Vanitha ma'am, various warm and heartiest welcome again to you for this podcast series, Livelihood for Women.
Thank you so much, Munish ji. I think I find it my privilege and honor to be invited to this platform to be able to share my views with all the listeners.
Thank you, ma'am. My first question to you is, see, women generally go through this "हमसे ना हो पाएगा" syndrome, right? We can't, ये हम नहीं कर सकते, right? But you have proved all. You are an inspiration to all. You all every day. You keep doing things. I keep seeing you so many posts of you on LinkedIn. You keep yourself occupied every day with some new things. Keep working out. How do you do it? It's really, how do you get this inspiration to keep moving? How do you do it, ma'am?
So, Munish ji, you very rightly pointed out that women have this habit of always undermining their abilities, undermining their competencies. I remember when I was in high school, and maybe I was in the 7th or 8th grade, one of my friends had seen my palm And I know as children, we always love to know what's going to happen in the future. So this girl claims that she's a good palm reader, and she was reading a lot of girls' palms in classroom that day, and she was saying, so and so would get married at so and so age, and so and so would have that many children. And I don't know, they look at, maybe she did a little bit of palmistry, or she had some sort of insights. So then when she saw my palm, and of course, she also knew the community that I came from. And she said, Vanitha, I don't think you're going to have a very good education because your education line is almost absent. And coming from the community that I know that you do, which is extremely conservative, you're going to get married maybe before 10th grade or maybe after 10th grade. So, no, you're not going to, you'll become just another housewife. And that sort of struck me. It hurt me actually very much. Whether this girl said it intentionally, unintentionally, or something, that always stayed with me. And I saw family members in my own family and extended family, especially women family members, who, though bright, just discontinued and never had any other aspiration beyond kitchen and home. And I definitely didn't want to trod that path, which was done by millions of women all over the world. So I thought I should make a difference. And so, though I did not have an easy path, I tried my level best to look at that goal of mine, which I felt that I should become something. I mean, I would like to stand on my own 2 feet. I wanted to be a little bit independent, a little bit financially independent. So I think that is where the roots of that ambitious dream that I had helped me maybe overcome a lot of obstacles, which I'm say, because no lady who has actually come to the stage that I have come will have it smooth, will have so much of support that every door or every gate is open for her to just sail smoothly. I'm sure every lady, every woman, every girl would have had to encounter so many obstacles that it is a trying period. And here is where maybe the grit and determination play a very vital role in in helping you understand that this is, I mean, these bad parts of your life is only there for a short period. If you can overcome them, then you will definitely get to a better place than where you were before. I think that was what my driving force was.
I think it's really inspiring to know. I'm sure that fortune teller, the palm reader, must be looking at and revisiting what she told. And so happy you proved her wrong, and you proved her wrong in many ways. For me, but still, see, you wear a lot of hats, right? You are a mother, you are a grandmother, you are a you are a industrialist, you are a industry, you are part of senior person in the industry association. Okay. Uh, and you are also pursuing your passion, which is music and everything. How do you do it? How do you find for all these things?
So there's a very popular saying, Munishji, which says that time expands to incorporate all your passions. And I think, yes, all of us are born with 24 hours in a day. But how we choose to prioritize our work, how we choose to allocate time to the things that we love the most, will definitely help us achieve. So, I mean, if you had asked me this question maybe 20 years back, I may not have had that much of time to allocate to my other passions, because maybe children were too young and I had a huge, responsibility that couldn't be given to other people. So, but maybe, during the course of my lifetime, I've been able to, keep in touch with various areas that I was interested, though I could not allocate so much of time to those at that particular stage in my life. But today, I mean, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, I've come to a place where children have become independent, and I've been able to delegate a lot of the menial work to other people. I've been able to bring in team members who could actually do all the grunt work for me, and I could actually allocate more time to what actually gets more value out of me and my thought process. I think that is where women also will have to look at the bigger picture and understand where most they can bring value. I mean, yes, if you ask a traditional woman, they definitely would like to be in the kitchen. They would love to cook for their families. They would love to give ghar ka khana, no, maa ka haath ka khana, and all that is very nice. But that if that happens day in and day out, the value that I can bring to people outside of my own network, I think that is more immense. Today, I think I've been able to bring so much of change in so many other people's lives that I've been able to get them out from their homes into the workplaces, created leaders in places that is necessary. I think that adds value to the environment, to the society, and I think that is a greater good that women will have to understand. Somehow the Indian culture and context is we always look at only our family, and we think if we have taken care of the family, then that's the end of our aspiration. We need to look beyond that, and I think that is where I get my inspiration on a daily basis. Whenever I go and meet people outside, that also sort of pushes me to do much more for the underprivileged or the people who don't have a voice. And I would love to actually advocate for them, get things done, maybe changed at the policy level. And that's how the interest keeps growing, because when you can see small wins add up, that is when you get the confidence that no, what you're doing is in the right track, and you will be able to take this much more further if you are able to push not only yourself but also pull a lot of people along with you.
I think what you are saying makes a lot of sense, and it is not only for the women, for men like me also, it is inspirational, right? How you are allocating time and how you are, getting your priorities right. I think that is really, really, very lot to learn from you, as I keep saying. I'm now going to get into your, ma'am, industrialist part. You are an industrialist, right? You
Yes.
are a successful industrialist, right? And you have seen a transition in the last so many years, the way corporate world has evolved, especially from the woman perspective, right? Uh, we have seen women workforce participation not as many. There are dropouts which happen in the woman phase of life when she becomes a mother, she has family things. We have seen those things. Beti bachao, beti padhao happened, right? After that, what? And especially in the context of the ongoing crisis, how you are seeing this whole corporate world evolving? That's my question to you.
So, Manishji, you very rightly pointed out that no, while the pandemic has brought out a new hybrid model that is going to be the future of work going forward. In the past, remote working, work from home were no just relegated to very few industries that no could actually afford to do that. In terms of maybe confidentiality, trust, and other issues. But today, I think the pandemic, the silver lining that the pandemic actually brought was change a lot of those old mindsets. And these are also in old industry domains, which actually could have done a little bit of change in the way work was actually allocated to both genders, whether it is man or women. Because today you see a lot of burnout happening in the industry. The people who really are competent, who are really the best workers, are actually being burdened with more and more work. Maybe because companies are trying to cut down on costs, they are trying to get fewer people to do more of the work. Whatever the reason is, I think this new normal is here to stay, and industry, companies, the organization, society as such will have to now recalibrate itself to understand how it can make the best out of the future of work. In this scenario also, there are very no realistic statistics that have actually pointed out that women have actually suffered the most in this pandemic. In fact, there is a term called the she session, which is nothing but a recession for women, because women are the ones who have been chucking up their jobs, who have been giving up because they could not handle both work and home, and having children at home, studying from home, and things like that. So this is where, when you said, beti bachao and beti padhao, what happens to the beta? When you are actually empowering your girls, are you also teaching the boys to deal with empowered girls? Because it is not enough that you educate your girl, you get her to have a good career, and then you expect her to do the grunt of the work back again at home. And what is the boy doing there? Is the boy also helping out? Is he also being trained to understand that a lot of these home required skills need to be taught to both genders, irrespective of whether he's your son or he's your daughter, or she's your daughter? So I think a whole new mindset needs to be changed. And I think the current generation, which is called the millennial generation, are coming up with more tolerance, with more ability to take on functions both at the home, at the workplace. They are more hands-on, in terms of their parenting styles. But this needs to scale up, and this needs to scale especially into the hinterland, where still the patriarchal sort of a mindset is very, very visible. So I understand that no, it will take a lot more time. And if you look at a lot of parameters that the UN has actually brought forward, they say that even developed nations, no, there is no gender parity. I mean, the gender parity, if one needs to see it, will take approximately 100 years. But I know all that looks very like, no, that feels like doomsday is no so far away, that when will we ever see an equal parity world? Will it be our children? Will it be our grandchildren? Will it be great grandchildren? So I think every generation has a responsibility to at least make the way much more easier for the next generation. I think do away with a lot of patriarchal mindsets that have not created value for anybody.
Yeah.
While in the past, while the patriarchy did serve a purpose, I think there was a time limit to these no, to these concepts. And I think with the changing times, we need to also bring about newer concepts that can enable a better quality of life for everybody. So when it comes from the industry, I have seen so many women, in spite of giving them all the opportunities, they have chosen to withdraw from the workspace. What they don't understand today is that their action today is going to impact the country tomorrow and in the future. I think this is where we need to make a lot of changes, and this is where I think industry leaders will have to come to the front and voice out these concerns and enable more women to come back into the workspace.
I think what you are saying, this is not this is a long journey, right? Everyone is looking at. Lot has to change, not only the mindset, but the perspective which we bring into. The way I see it, Vanita, is that, work from home, okay, and, hybrid model. There is a, right now, a lot of debate going on, whether we'll come back to office or hybrid will be there or work from home will be there. Whatever you say, it's going to happen. The rightly so is there is a window which has opened up for the woman, right? And I believe this work from home window, women have to really capitalize. The moment, I believe, I'm also father of two daughters, and my wife is also working. So I totally agree with you. It has to, from the boys' side, from the men's side, there has to be a support and everything. But the more I feel, the more women become independent, they become financially independent, right? A lot of things will change because it adds on to their confidence. And when you are working from home and you may be in a hinterland or anything today, it doesn't actually matter when you are working from home. You are in the hinterland or you are in the metros or you are overseas. I think work from home is changing that. This alone probably, will bring, in my personal view, right, a radical change in the way women workforce participation has begun. There will be certain learnings, right? I have seen, I've read in the media and everyone that's it has gone. But from Jeevitam perspective, what we have seen is we are seeing more women getting added to the workforce. Like we have 54% of the women are working in our company are women, right? That's the way which is there. And this is all those girls who have graduated. I keep asking them whether you want to get married or you want to continue with your work, and they keep saying we want to work. And they are now happy, because they are in their smaller towns and they are able to find work as they would, as equally as, if they would have been a tier one city to do that. So I think that's a change which is coming up. But in the new normal, what you said, right? What is you are seeing, what is the future you are seeing, right? What is what is the uh, on the leadership side, are you seeing more women coming in, what is happening on this woman workforce, participation side?
So, Monishji, you have said that no, there is a lot of opportunity available, but the statistics are not showing that no, those opportunities are being harnessed by women. Today, a lot of companies are no, moving to the hybrid model. They are probably keeping a lot of positions, completely work from home. And that is actually going to help women a lot, because then they can always balance their home responsibilities along with their work responsibilities. They save a lot of time on the commute, and of course safety and security are other major issues. The only issue here would be no if you actually want to climb the corporate ladder. So just sitting at home and probably doing work from home may not offer you that sort of an opportunity to actually get to the next level, which if you have aspirations, then you will need to also probably, that's the reason why a lot of corporates are looking at the hybrid model. Maybe you work 3 days at home and maybe 2 days at the office space, because then you also need the physical networking that is very, very crucial to making yourself visible in the workspace. But companies are
Great.
also understanding this, and especially if no work is of a far off area, maybe you need to visit a client in some other country or something. The hybrid model works fantastically, because you can always connect virtually and do that. The only other thing here that is required is also the aspiration from the lady herself. If the lady aspires to continue, she can do that, and phase it out in such a manner that also with her life phases, she also then matches her corporate phases. Yes, see, when the children are very young or when you are just newly married, you would prefer probably to have a work from home. But when children start becoming independent, then that is the time for you to probably then start going back to the physical workspace to be able to then climb your own corporate ladder. So here, women, I think, is the moot point. They have to have the aspiration. If we can inspire women to be more aspirational, I think they then start opening doors for themselves, which is going to help society. It'll help the community. It will help everybody in the long run.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. I recently read this book, ma'am, Indra Nooyi's book, My Life in Full, and this brings a lot of issues on the woman face on being on the leadership side, right? That is there. It is very difficult for women to be on the leadership positions, right? And Indra Nooyi book really explains it in bit. What is your perspective? Your perspective, as you know, only 8.1% of the Fortune 500 CEOs are women. You know, what can all of us do to accelerate the growth of women in top business positions?
So I too just finished reading it a couple of weeks back, and I really loved the entire way in which she navigated her life, from a simple Tambram family in Chennai,
Yes,
how she then moved to become a leader of one of the topmost companies in the world. And she was and she navigated it so beautifully and so maturely and so balancedly. I think there were a lot of learnings from that book, in the way that her mentality or her attitude towards her own aspirations, as well as taking everybody along with her. I think that was what struck with me. She always found out probably probable solutions to be able to tackle the most difficult times in her life. And I think here one of the key elements were the companies that she worked for also understood, and they also partnered with her, whether it was giving her leave with pay for the time when her father was during that critical stage when he was almost diagnosed with cancer and he was suffering through it, during her own personal accident or during the birth of her children. Whichever company she worked, I think the company, I think, needs to take a lot of kudos, because they actually understood that such a talent should not be lost, and they did everything in their ability to keep on to her by giving her that support, which I think is a good learning for corporations everywhere. If you invest in your employee, the employee gives you back that much more. And whether the
yes.
employee stays for you like for 5 years or 10 years or even for 3 years, the amount of value that that employee can bring back to you because of the support that you have given will actually be so intangible that it will create that much more goodwill for the company itself. I think companies need to understand that. So if you look at that book, while it was a personal vindication of women's ability to conquer the best of the bastions, it is also a vindication for good companies through good company or through good corporate governance, that if a good company has good HR policies, then they also can reach the topmost in their own domains.
I agree with you, ma'am. I think people like you and Indra Nooyi, I will take you in the same league. You also, I will suggest you to write your autobiography. It will be equally important. We look forward because you also have done a lot, and a lot of inspiration can be taken from you. Yeah, for me, this question, it always comes up again and again, and so much is being said about it, about the increase in women workforce participation, right? Uh, I believe personally, technology and collaboration. These are the two important aspects, which can trigger, the increase in the women workforce participation. And the figures in India say, we have 13%, 14%, and it should be 42%. In the best is 42% women workforce participation in the world. What will take us, in your view, to increase this woman workforce participation at all levels, whether it is entry level, whether it is at the entrepreneurship level, or whether at middle level, all levels? What will it take for us? What is corporates like you, or startups like us, or government bodies, or educational institutions, or skilling firms? How can we all come together, in your view, to work, to increase this challenge of, increasing workforce participation, in your view?
A very, very relevant question, Monish ji, and I think that's the need of the hour, especially for a country like India, which is not trying to move to the 5 trillion economy. We cannot reach that target unless we leave half the workforce, sitting at home. So for that, I think vociferously, all of us will have to shout out from the highest rooftops that women are needed every place. Because what
Yes.
I also see is when children go to school, most of the time the boys are the ones who are actually counseled for careers. Women are not counseled, and I think that needs to be ingrained right from kindergarten level, that no, when you grow up, it's not that no, you will get married and have children and stay at home, but you also will be working for the rest of your life. I think somewhere we sort of miss the bus, because today if you look at India statistically, women in India are actually getting fantastic education. They're getting fantastic certification. They're doing very well academically, and that is also pointed out in a lot of the UN reports. But this somehow is not getting translated to the workspace. While they do enter at the entry level, the fresher level, they do not continue and climb the corporate ladder or whatever. No, they do not become entrepreneurs because of various obstacles. But these obstacles are just stones in your pathway, and if you do not have an aspiration to actually walk the pathway, then the stones really, even if they are there or not there, they do not matter. But if you actually put on your shoes and you say, no, I will walk this pathway, then whatever stone that comes in front of you, you will just bend, pick it up and throw it away. If it is heavier, you will ask somebody else to help you throw it away. But that aspiration has to come from you. So that mindset, I think, needs to change, and this needs to be bombarded from society, from government, from academia, from communities, from industries too. Every angle, if we keep bombarding women that no, you have to be at the workplace, you have to contribute to the society, you are equal partners in progress of this nation, only then I think women will start understanding their responsibility, that they also need to be part of part of the economy as economic participants. We should not be a burden to society. And I think today most of the educated lot who are not actually working seem to have become a burden, because we utilize the entire infrastructure that a country has, but then we are not contributing back to the country. So I
Yeah,
think that
very
actually
well.
impacts.
Yes.
In fact, there is a very funny statistics, Munishji, that says India has the highest number of overqualified homemakers. What does that mean? That means that we have doctors, lawyers, we have engineers, we have technology scientists, We have chartered accountants, we have company secretaries, we have, you name it, we have those, but they're all just sitting at home.
Yeah.
Which is very sad. So I think this is where I think from government, from industry, from academia, from society, from families, from every corner, we need to ensure that women also need to become economic participants.
I think very well said, ma'am. I think all the people who are listening to this podcast, will find it very relevant in today's context. It is not, I think it is a role of everyone, right? Right from the society to government, to the way it has to be inculcated, as you rightly said, right from the childhood, that शादी करनी है और बच्चे करने हैं और फिर family को handle करना है. You have to go beyond. I think that is where men have to really change the patriarchal mindset which they have. I think there is a lot of change, but what I am seeing, in my view, that this change which was not so fast in the last so many years will be very fast in the coming years. I'm pretty confident. The technology is going to play a very wide role, and I think more such experiences. What you have said, Vanitha, actually so inspirational for every woman who is going to listen to this. I think they need to get. I speak to many women who are in their mid careers, and they have taken breaks because of their family obligations. For them, okay, now this emptiness syndrome has come in. The children have grown up, they have gone away, but still they are not willing to, because they are somewhere have gone into their comfort zone. Somewhere they have, there is that fire which is required to, yeah, I need to be on my own, yeah, I need to be there. Somewhere that is also required, and the examples of people, of women like you, I think will really be good. Just coming to the end, on this, see, there are, I'm sure this podcast will be listened by everyone. For all women from all the segments, what will be your, ma'am, last piece of advice to them, for them to really build, not only contribute to the society, to the nation, but also, have their own self-independence and their own self-respect, which is very much required in today's thing. What is will be your message to all, ma'am?
I can probably sum it up in 6 words, Munishji, and I think this will actually create a type of maybe a mantra for women to to look back on, to keep recalibrating themselves, to be able to help not only themselves, their families, their societies and communities, but also contribute back to the nation. And I actually learned this from a professor in Tokyo when I had the opportunity to go for a program there. So she always called this as 6 ups of leadership. And I always love to talk about this to everybody. First up is to show up. And as women, we need to do that because we are so inhibited. We always feel, let the men do it or let somebody else do it. Why should we get involved? But showing up is actually half the battle won, because you will understand what is there, what is necessary, and what is it that you could actually contribute to that situation. The next one is to speak up. And speak up again, women need to have their voices heard, because only then whatever issues are bothering us, whatever inequalities we find in the world, there can be certain policies that can be amended to be able to help us also harness our potential. The third up is to look up. Look up also means to look up at role models. It also means look at the bigger picture and look at your future aspirational goals. Ensure that every work that you do today adds up to reaching that goal faster. Then the fourth up is to team up. And I also spoke about teaming up. We need to build teams, not only at workspaces, also in the home spaces, also in community, so that the more you delegate work, the more you get, you collaborate with other people, you will be able to do a much better job, or the outcomes will be much more better. The fifth up is especially very relevant for women is don't give up. And as you just rightly pointed out, that a lot of mid-career women chuck up everything that they have worked so hard for just because they have to deal with certain exigencies at home, which is definitely the need of the hour. But post that, post the emptiness syndrome, post whatever exigencies has been taken care of, they should come back in some other version. It can be as a volunteer for the society. It can be, maybe become an entrepreneur and give more options for employment for other underprivileged people. There are numerous ways that you should and you can do. So don't give up is very, very critical. And the last up is, once you are a leader, a true leader does not create followers, but creates numerous leaders behind them. And with that, you have to lift others up. And I think these 6 ups have actually, personally changed my own life. It has helped me evolve both personally and professionally. And I wish that, this also helps everybody who listens to this. So show up, speak up, look up, team up, don't give up, and lift others up. I've been living by this mantra, and I wish that people who do live by this will also see massive changes that they have in their own lives and that they can bring it around to the communities that they live in. Thank you so much, Munishji, for inviting me to this podcast today.
Ma'am, it's so inspirational. I've myself got inspired by you. And so I think so much to learn from you, so much to get inspired by you. I think this six ups which you have told, will remain with me also, and with every woman, every girl around. Should do that. Show up, speak up, look up, team up, don't give up, and lift others up. I think that is what going to be the mantra. All the women who are going to listen this podcast, I will request everyone to look into these 3 up mantras given by Vanitha, and let that be your inspiration to move forward. Thank you, Vanitha ma'am. Over to you, Nikita.
It was a wonderful experience, ma'am, having you with us and knowing your journey and your efforts towards inclusion and diversity. You have inspired and motivated a lot of women out there. In case they want to reach out to you, ma'am, how can they connect with you?
So I'm available on LinkedIn. So I think anybody, or also maybe on Facebook. So anybody can drop me a message and I'm more than happy to connect with them.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was really inspiring having you with us and listening to your thoughts. Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you,
Thank
Vanitha. You have always support for us. You have always come in as and when we have called you for. And thank you for being all the support again. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's my privilege to be sharing this Saturday morning with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All the best. Bye.